The wind screamed like a tortured soul outside, its wail echoing through the house, filling every crevice with a cold, suffocating fear. I stumbled forward, my foot snagging on a cracked floorboard, the ancient wood groaning under the weight of my panic. My flashlight slipped from my grasp, crushing to the floor, the beam flickering before it died, plunging the room into an overwhelming, choking blackness. An invisible, bone-chilling presence swept through the space, seeping deep into my very soul. I frowned, my heart pounding so loudly I thought it might burst from my chest. Her footsteps, slow, deliberate, pierced the silence, each step a reminder of the nightmare closing in on me. She was getting closer. Each footstep felt like a death sentence, every echo more sinister than the last, as if she were savoring the terror rising inside me. My hands shook violently as I desperately fumbled for the flashlight, my breath ragged, my pulse roaring in my ears. Finally, with a trembling breath, I managed to turn it back on. The beam sliced through the suffocating darkness only to reveal an empty room. Silent, still, just the heavy, oppressive silence pressing in around me, suffocating every inch of me. My body felt like stone, but her presence, it lingered, cold, unyielding, like icy fingers curling around my heart, choking the life from me. I backed away, each step a struggle, my legs refusing to obey, urging me to flee, but I couldn't move. My feet were glued to the floor, paralyzed by a terror so deep I could barely breathe. I slammed the door shut behind me, the sound a sharp, hollow thud reverberated through the house, a brief flicker of comfort in the sea of dread. Leaning against the door, I gasped for air, my chest tight, my throat closing in around me. The air felt thick, almost solid, pressing down on me, suffocating my breath. From downstairs, a faint tapping sounded slow, rhythmic, as if someone was dragging their feet across the wooden floor. My heart skipped a beat, and I swallowed hard, forcing myself to believe I had left him upstairs. Had I? The sound came again, so labored, each footstep dragged like a whisper from beyond the grave. Then, voices soft, low, a curse carried on the wind. You shouldn't have come back, Emily. I frowned, my blood turning to ice, my skin crawling as her whisper slithered into my ears. My name spoken like a promise of doom, a dark omen. It slithered through the air, ancient and inevitable, as though it had always been waiting for this moment to unfold. My heart pounded in my chest, my mind screaming to run, but my body betrayed me. The hallway stretched before me, empty but for the pulsating, malevolent darkness that seemed to have a life of its own. I turned back, desperate for safety, but there was nothing, no shape, no figure, only the oppressive emptiness of the hallway, mocking me, suffocating me with its silence. I had to know, I had to understand. I couldn't leave in it after what she had done. I gripped the banister, my fingers numb, as I began my descent down the stairs, each step a weight pressing me further into the abyss. The air grew heavier, more suffocating with each passing second. The silence, it felt like an eternity, stretching on and on. I could feel her presence below, waiting for me in inevitability. The darkness at the bottom of the stairs felt too close, too real. Suddenly the lantern light from the hallway flickered. Shadows stretched across the room like dark tendrils, reaching for me. There she was, standing still at the foot of the stairs, her dark dress sweeping the floor like it was alive, her eyes glowing red beneath the tangled mass of hair that obscured her face. A grotesque grin twisted her lips, stretching them far beyond what was human, mocking me with its unnatural form. The very air around me trembled with the weight of her presence. "I told you not to return, Emily," her voice hissed, sharp and venomous, the words filled with malice, like poison dripping from her mouth. Her gaze locked onto mine, suffocating, like a vice clamping down on my chest. Every cell in my body screamed for escape, for release, but I couldn't move. I was trapped, completely, utterly trapped. My eyes darted to the old photo frame on a nearby table, but it wasn't the photo that drew me in, it was the crack forming in the glass, spreading like a hen curling around the frame. The faces inside, inhuman, once familiar, began to melt into grotesque shapes, twisted and unrecognizable, their features warping into nightmare versions of themselves. The floor beneath me groaned, cracking open with a deafening sound, so loud I thought the house would collapse. A shadow darted across my vision, fleeting but unmistakable, creeping toward me, its movements alive, sentient. I staggered backward, panic surging as I realized I was surrounded by nothing but darkness, every escape route swallowed by the void. Her laugh echoed, a wicked, cruel sound that wrapped around me like chains, sweet, taunting, each echo pressing down on me, smothering me with its suffocating weight. There was no escape, no way out. The darkness closed in tighter, wrapping around me like a vice, choking the air from my lungs. My pulse raced in my ears, and my body screamed for air, for release, but it was all too much, too powerful. Then through the chaos, I saw it, a door, a crack in the farthest corner of the room, barely visible, hidden behind old relics of the past, the only way out. Without a thought, my legs moved, my feet stumbling toward the door, just within reach, until he stepped in front of me. It was Rufus's eyes, hollow, vacant, drained of life, blood stained his shirt, but it was the emptiness in his eyes that spoke, the loudest, hopeless, lifeless, a mirror to the death that awaited me. He didn't need to speak. His eyes, they told me everything. I would never leave this place. A gasp tore through me as I stumbled backward, horror clawing at my chest. The shadows surged, overwhelming me, pressing me down like a suffocating weight. My vision blurred, and the world slipped away, consumed by darkness, and vanishing, complete, crushing darkness.